Hey everyone, welcome to another week of the Video Vantage. My name is Haley and I'm joined by my co host Mike. And this week we're doing another social media platform deep dive, but we're focusing on YouTube and how brands can utilize the platform for their social media presence. Mike, thanks for joining me for another week.
Haley, thank you for having me again. It's great to see you. And how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. We were just talking off the air. I got back from the dentist, no cavities. So, you know, good for the next 6 months.
Solid start to the day.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're talking about YouTube today.
Yes,
And I'd love to get your perspective on this platform because you do a lot of you're in charge of all of our short form and to a good extent, some of our longer form video content as well.
totally.
Um, so like just to state some of the obvious things, maybe just for some context setting, you know, YouTube has millions of visitors a day, hundreds of millions of visitors a day. I think the last thing I read, it's like the second largest search engine, second to just Google itself.
Yeah.
But I'd love get your perspective on YouTube as a platform and how it has maybe evolved in recent years for marketers in particular.
Totally, yeah. We've seen, much like with every other platform, the addition of short form video content on YouTube over the last few years. So, YouTube's always been known for the place to go for longer form videos and like upwards of 10 minutes. And
Mhm.
now, with the addition of shorts, you can have videos that are less than 30 seconds long and they are mixed in on the YouTube homepage, but there's also a dedicated shorts feed that you can go on if you wanted to consume that content. So it's kind of just another avenue for marketers to consider when they're creating content there. Of course, like you mentioned, YouTube as a search engine is extremely popular, and the fact that it's owned by Google is great for kind of getting your brand awareness out there because if your content is SEO friendly, then it can appear in Google search results since they serve video results there as well. So, lots of things to consider for marketing, but I think it's definitely underutilized by a lot of brands, probably because it takes quite a bit of effort to create that long form content.
And like on the shorts front, do you think was that something they maybe had in the works, or was that more of a response to platforms like TikTok and Instagram?
It definitely could have been something that they had in the works, but my gut tells me it was a pretty direct response to the success that TikTok had seen, as well as the fact that Gen Z uses TikTok as a search engine. So I think Google and YouTube being these two very popular search engines, it kind of made sense for them to have that short form platform added in there. I will say I don't think it's as popular yet as TikTok or Instagram Reels. People are still kind of trying to figure it out and it doesn't really have its own culture like TikTok does. There's no really unique YouTube Shorts
Mm.
trends. It's a lot of recycled content right now, but I think it makes sense for them to have that added in there.
And so it feels like it's kind of a strategic move for them to do
Agreed.
that,
Yeah.
to maybe either attract other a different demographic or retain viewers on the platform. Have you seen or read about any like changes to the algorithm that's like, hey, if you have a YouTube short, it may or may not impact your channel or your viewership or your subscribers, anything like that?
Yeah, totally. I haven't seen any concrete news about what they're pushing in the algorithm, but I've definitely seen with Bitable's channel, we started adding in 2 YouTube shorts a week, and they are original content. So it's not content that we've used from our TikTok page. It's more like talking head spoken word videos. And since we've added those 2 videos in a week, our channel has grown a lot quicker. Also, the views that we get on those shorts are much higher than the views that we get on our long form content and it takes considerably less time to create those videos. So for us, it's definitely been a win. I've seen pretty similar findings for other creators as well, mostly creators that kind of got their start on TikTok, so they were comfortable with those short form platforms. And
Hmm.
I've seen some that have joined YouTube and will exclusively post YouTube Shorts content. They haven't created any long form videos yet, but they're seeing a lot of growth on their channels, a lot of subscribers, and they're getting some pretty good views on YouTube.
Okay, great. So you mentioned, you know, the content creation part of things, and I'm just curious from your perspective. I think a perception that I've always had about video quality is that the higher quality the video, maybe even slash the more produced a video is, the more likely it is to get views, the
Totally.
better it would be. But there's also, I think, a trend that some, like, lower production quality content comes across as more authentic. What's your take or advice to a brand, with it getting started? Like, what are some best practices for creating that content to keep it visually appealing and engaging, whether it's overly produced or maybe just, shot with your phone?
Absolutely. I think on shorts, you can keep it pretty simple. It can have kind of that raw, vulnerable feel shot on the iPhone feel like on a TikTok platform. That being said, I think your lighting is still important. Your quality is still important, but you can get good lighting and good video quality with most phones nowadays. They're pretty capable. If you're doing long form content, I think YouTube still really loves that like polished feel video. Not to say that the vlog style videos don't do well, because there definitely are creators that have captivating content like that, but I think it's harder to stand out. So you'll still see a lot of people who put a lot of effort into their post-production, into the lighting. I think sound is a big one on YouTube, how good
Yeah.
your microphone is. And then one thing too is your thumbnail. So how captivating is that thumbnail? Because that's the first thing people see when they're sorting through a sea of videos. So that's the first thing you can do to stand out. And YouTube recently actually introduced A/B testing for thumbnails. So you can upload a few, I think maybe two different thumbnails, and they'll automatically test both and put the higher performing thumbnail as the thumbnail for your video. So that's pretty neat. I've seen creators like Mr. Beast, who has the most subscribers on YouTube, say that they spend hours just nailing down like the sizing in the thumbnail. They'll have a few variations that are ever so different, and if in the first hour a video isn't performing the way they want it to, they'll actually switch the thumbnail and see if that helps boost it a bit.
That's amazing. And, like, you know, you can't have not seen a Mr. Beast thumbnail. Like,
Truly.
their crew is amazing at doing all that stuff. Do you think that works for everybody though? Because I feel like it's almost a little bit overdone in
I
some
completely
cases.
agree. Yeah, and the budget that he spends on those videos, most people won't be able to attain. I think there's really great lessons that he's learned, and he's been pretty open with sharing on different podcasts that you can kind of take and apply to your channel in your own way that kind of fits your industry or your niche. I don't think everybody needs to spend millions of dollars or have these crazy stunts and things like that, but I do think he's clearly cracked the code and has like a good thing going over on YouTube. So I think he's learned a lot and shares a lot of great tidbits.
Yeah. So maybe transitioning from some of that A/B testing to other analytics, can you share with us a little bit about some of the analytics that are available inside the Creator Studio, and how should you interpret those, and how do you want to look at those to maybe get the best performance out of your content?
Absolutely. So they have all of the analytics, the basic analytics like your views, your engagement, how many people gave it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. One of my favorites that they have is the watch time. So you can see how many people watched your video up to a certain point and then where the drop off starts happening. And I think for video creators, that's one of the most important analytics to look at. Of course, retention rate is going to get your content boosted a little bit more in the algorithm if people are clearly enjoying it and watching it, they'll push it because more people want to consume that. So it's kind of worthwhile taking a look at your videos, seeing where you lost interest and maybe why you think you lost interest there so you can improve that for the next video. If you're creating videos that are over 10 or 15 minutes long and you're continuously seeing a drop off at around a 12-minute mark or an 8-minute mark, maybe that's a sign to try slightly shorter videos. There's just a lot you can learn there, and it's a pretty interesting metric that they have.
Nice. Well, speaking of watch time, I think we're kind of at the end of our time today.
Yes,
Just
we
kind
are.
of, and so just thank you very much for your time today. Appreciate, thanks for sharing your insights, and everybody, check us out on all of our channels, and we'll see you next time.